Morning, airgun fans. Welcome back. Yesterday I went into the beeman. I was shooting it, and then I was getting smoke from the trigger guard. You ever had that? Shoot, and the smoke puffs out of the trigger guard. So this Canadian, okay, I'll just tell you everything I found in there as I was going. First, there's 3 pins to remove. There's no screw or anything from the bottom holding this back cap. It's just that back pin holds this back cap, and the other 2 pins hold the trigger group, which is a big box that plugs all the way inside of your tube. It goes like all the way up into the tube, and the block of the inside of the trigger group here is what your spring guide is pressed against. So it's trigger group, spring guide. It's a plastic spring guide, goes through the spring. There's a bunch of tension on it. When you take everything out, the spring unrolls to about here, and you have to press it about up to here to put it back together. So you got a nice healthy looking spring though, I gotta give it that. Kind of a cheap spring guide, metal washer in the back of that. Go to the front of the spring, no top hat, nothing, no extra piece at the end, bugger all. A massive, super heavy piston with the usual green beeman piston seal at the end. And was it green or blue? I think it was blue. No compression chamber, no piston sleeve. I mean, it's really just a spring, piston, and a seal inside of this tube. Bam. I found metal shavings in my seal. That the seal is round, but there's this inner crease in it too, like a smaller circle about midway through the diameter of the seal. And in there were steel shavings, like not pellets. There was hard bits of metal. Clean all that out. I found the hole. I found the detuning hole in the piston. I know where they put it now. At the seal, at the end, there's a screw going through that into the piston to hold the seal. And through the screw, they put a little hole all the way down the shaft of the screw. So when you push air at the end, a little bit of it escapes back through the piston and detunes your rifle. I plugged it. Yeah, I said it. I plugged the hole. See what happened? It was plugged. The dirt and the gunk and the grease that they put in there, not me, that they put in there, filled up that hole and jammed it pretty good, so that when I was shooting it, I was getting almost 650. I was getting out 13 foot-pounds out of it, out of a Canadian airgun. And that's without me doing anything to it. And I was using it, experimenting, trying to find better ammo so to tame it down to 500 again. And then smoke was coming out of my trigger guard, because eventually I put a heavy pellet in there. I blew out that plug of grease from the detuning hole, and then smoke was coming in through that hole, back through the housing, and out of the trigger guard. So I decided to plug that hole, because that could always happen again. You could get more grease going down in it, and if it doesn't plug it, it'll definitely change your FPS up and down as you're using it constantly. And the way it's lined up, you could almost cock the gun and take a little swab and go in there and clean that hole regularly and whatnot, and make sure that it's actually pretty detuned. Fully detuned there, it was shooting more like 450 FPS, which renders it useless with the 12, 13 foot-pound spring in there just to end up with 450 FPS. There's no point in using an air gun like that. The bang for the buck is not there. But what I am going to do is continue testing heavy ammo, see as far as much data as I can get out of that, and then cut it. The spring, I mean. I'd rather have a sealed piston that has a steady airflow situation up there and progressively cut the spring to bring it down in combination with ammo. I don't want to nerf it completely. It came pretty strong, so I want to keep the edge on it. But there's so much of it now, it's almost reaching 15 foot-pounds now that I plugged the hole. So, testing. I know I have about this much spring that I can just straight up remove, and it would still have a tiny bit of pre-tension, and it would also be easy to maintain that way, because it's kind of tricky to manage all this pre-tension when maintaining it. So that would help with the speed, with the maintenance. I just want to be absolutely sure of how I want to do that cut at the end, and I want to, deal with the unflattened spring afterwards and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I found in there. That's what I'm gonna do with it. Right now it has to it has to stay there. It has to do this. It has to. Alright, see you next time.